For me, it's not really a meal unless I have salad, but once in a while I want a meal that is just salad, and that's what we're going to do today. This is a main dish chopped salad, and it's pretty much what it sounds like, and it has a lot of flexibility. So I'm going to show you one option, but when I show you a protein, keep in mind that you can substitute any other. When I show you a fruit, you can substitute any other, and when I show you a cheese, anything, it will go on that too. So we're going to start with some greens, as most salads do, or many salads do. Now you can see that this one has not yet been cleaned up. It has dirt on it and whatnot, and what you're going to want to do with greens is you're going to want to remove the leaves from it, remove anything that's torn or damaged, then make sure you wash it in cool water, preferably running water, but at least several changes of water if you can't run it while you do it, to make sure that you get all the dirt, the grit, any bugs that might be living there taken away. Now the next step will be to dry it, because you want to make sure that your dressing is going to stick to those greens, and so some sort of a salad spinner will work really well. The reason I like this one is not only does it have the salad spinner portion to it, but once you get the lettuce dried off by simply putting it in here and spinning it, then you can take this out, let the lettuce sit in it while you dry this out, and then actually use the bowl to use as your salad bowl. So that's another option that makes it really handy. That way it doesn't seem like it takes so much space up in your cabinet. I'm going to actually use a different bowl, primarily because I want you to be able to see a little bit better what I'm doing. So I have the greens already cut. Now many times when we use salads, we don't use a knife to prepare them, because that breaks open the cells and that lets the acid that's inside each of the cells out, which tends to start the browning around the edges, and we don't really want our salads to look brown. But for this one, I went ahead and cut it because this is one that has to be served immediately. It doesn't hold over well at all. And so everything that's in here you're either going to have to eat up or use. So measure out the amount of greens that you can use for one meal. And remember, this is a dinner salad, so you're going to maybe use a little bit more greens than you would for a side salad, because it is going to be the main course. Now I'm got those prepared. That's one head of romaine lettuce in this case. I'm going to make the dressing. I have a half a cup of buttermilk, and to that I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of a light mayonnaise. You could use salad dressing if you chose. I tend to be a mayonnaise person, so I'm going to stick with that. Then I have 2 green onions. Now I've cut and sliced the ends, the green part or the white part, and separated them. And I'm just adding the white part to our dressing. I also have a clove of garlic that it's been minced well, so that nobody gets one great big bite of garlic, but everybody gets some. And then also I've got a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. We're just going to whisk those together well. Now by using low-fat ingredients, we can come up with a low-fat dressing. You may not need to use all of this at one time, but it's kind of a little bit easier to do all of it and make it all and then use it at separate occasions. So this may be an instance where you want to pass the dressing if you don't think you're going to use all of the salad, rather than mixing it together before you get started. So we'll set that aside while we're layering the rest of the salad together. I have about 3/4 of a pound of chicken. Now this salad is going to serve 4 people, so 3/4 of a pound would be a little bit less than the 4-ounce serving that we usually get. We're going to put that on top, and there's somebody going to layer these in. Now I'm going to add to this 2 cups of grapes. Now if you're serving people that maybe have a little bit of dexterity problem, either because they're a little bit older or they're a little bit younger and can't catch the grapes with their fork, one of the things you might want to do is cut them all in half. In order to make them a little bit more manageable for some folks. I'm also going to be adding some frozen vegetables. I've got 2 cups of 1 cup of frozen peas. Now you could use frozen corn, you could use leftover vegetables, and with the chicken that I added, remember, you could use other vegetable or other meats for that, or other proteins. You could also use leftovers, which is one of the big things that makes it really nice when you're making a main dish salad. Is you make the Sunday roast chicken, and then on Monday you have the meat left over for another recipe. Well, this is a nice one to use that for. You could also use leftover steak, you could use leftover pork, you could even use leftover fish if it was a fairly firm fish. Now the other things that we're going to add in here, I've got 2 ounces of cheese. Now a lot of us use more cheese than we really need to because of the high fat content. This is a reduced fat version of cheese, but it is also a sharp cheese, which gives us more flavor. The flavor goes further when you use something that's sharper. And then I've got the, remember those green onions? I've got the tops to those green onions. They're going to go in here as well. And now the dressing that we prepared, give it one final whisk. And we're going to simply push that on there. Make sure we get as much of it as we can. And then how you stir this is always up for debate. If your hands are really clean, some people will say use your hands. I prefer to use something like this. Some people will use tongs. When you're looking with something that's as delicate as the grapes, the peas, and the lettuce, I tend not to like to use tongs quite as much for tossing, simply because they can damage. So that's all there is to this one. Remember, this is going to make 4 servings, so they're going to be fairly healthy servings. I am going to use the tongs, however, to try and move it to the plate. And then you have this whole thing, a quarter of this recipe is only a little over 300 calories, so you have plenty of calories left to get some low-fat milk and a piece of bread, or if you would like to, you could even sprinkle on top just a few croutons to give it a little bit more crunch. I hope you'll try this one. This is Chopped Main Dish Dinner Salad for Oklahoma Gardening. I'm Barbara Brown.